Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on biological techniques. Today's lecture will be a continuation on techniques in ichthyofaunal studies. I had already explained that ichthyofaunal studies or ichthyofaunal basically refer to the fish composition of an area of an aquatic ecosystem, a water body. It could be a lake, it could be a river, or even an ocean. Now, to effectively collect fish, both active and passive fishing gears are used. And the active fishing gears, such as the cast net, the trawl nets, the angling techniques, the electrofishing, and others have been discussed in my earlier video. So today's lecture will be on the use of passive fishing gears to collect fish samples from water bodies or from aquatic ecosystems such as rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, and even from the ocean. The passive fishing gears include fishing gears such as the gill nets, the hooks and lines, and many others that we'll look at. So we want to look at the passive fishing gears. The first passive fishing gear we want to discuss is the gill net. The gill net is one of the fish sampling gear that's popularly used to collect fish from various aquatic ecosystems. It's a passive fishing device and suspended in water column to capture fish swimming into the meshes of the net. So basically, it is set in along the water course, and the fish that swim along its path are caught within the meshes of this net. Now, the process is called chilling and occurs when the maxillary or opercular area is caught in a single mesh when a fish encounters the net. When a fish encounters the net, they are caught at the opercular area, and that's why they are called a gill net. So the fish may also be entangled by their teeth, their spines, the girth, or scales as they try to pass through or free themselves from the meshes. Okay, while they are trying to free themselves from the meshes of the net, they could also be caught their teeth, the spines, the girth, or even the scales. The net is 91.2 meters long and 2.4 meters deep and has different mesh sizes. Each mesh size is selective for a certain size of fish. Gill nets are probably one of the most commonly used methods in fish sampling in lakes. However, they can be very selective for the size and type of fish they will catch, depending on the size of mesh and whether the net is designed to float or sink. So they are selective, and the type of fish they catch, the size of fish, depending on the net, whether the net is designed to float. There are some that are designed to float on the surface. Those ones do not have anchors. They float and they drift along with the water, while there are others that would have to sink, and such ones are anchored in place and they remain stationary. So depending on how the net is designed, the 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 type of fish that's been caught varies. The type of fish that's been caught, those that float can catch different types of fish from those that sink to the bottom. The type of materials used for the net can also influence the effectiveness of the net. For example, water clarity and weather conditions can make a net more or less visible to fish. Therefore, a clear understanding of the purpose of the sampling program will help define the type of net that is needed. To obtain representative sample of fish populations, in the lake, the gill net sets should be chosen to cover as many of the habitat types in the lake as possible. So to enable the collector to collect if, different types of fish, as many different representatives of fish species as possible, it is very important that gill nets are chosen to cover as many of the habitat types in the lake as possible, as many as possible. Generally, gill nets are set at dusk, left to fish overnight, and are retrieved the following morning to process the catch. Usually, when they are set, when it's getting dark, okay, toward in the evening, and then they are retrieved in the morning. So they catch the fish overnight. In some cases, it may be appropriate to set a net during the day to gauge the amount of fishing effort that should be required to sufficiently sample the fish population. Okay, so sometimes you set them during the day, and that will enable you to gauge the amount of fishing effort that will be required to sufficiently sample the fish population in a specific aquatic ecosystem. Nets should not be set down steep slopes and drop-offs that may compress and close the meshes, reducing their efficiency. Nets are best set over even regular substrate. They should be set over even regular substrates. Gill nets are easily set with the use of a boat. One end of the net is either tied off on shore or anchored with a marked board. The boat is then reversed and the net is let out over the bow. To avoid tangles, it is best to carefully load the net into a tub or bag, trying to keep cork and lead lines separated. This will allow the net to be set with a minimum of tangles and snags. Now, this is the gill net that's been retrieved. The gill net has been retrieved, and the top of the gill net usually has floaters, and then the bottom has leads. Then the fish are actually entangled within the meshes around the opercular region of the fish, and that's why the net is called the gill net. That's why the net is called the gill net. Okay, the fish are caught around the opercular region. The next type of passive fishing gear we want to look at are the hooks and lines. The hooks and lines. Hooks and lines are fishing gears that involves the use of natural or artificial baits or lures placed on a hook fixed to the end of a line or snood to attract and catch or collect a wide variety of fish, squid, and cuttlefish, ranging from open ocean swimmers to bottom dwellers. So the hooks and lines basically involve the use of natural or artificial baits. Usually, it's usually necessary to know the diets of various fish, so that we use such baits to lure such a fish. The baits or lures are used in various ways to attract target species. Okay, they are used to attract target species. So a very good knowledge of the diet of this target species is very important. The lures are attached to the hook and then to the various hooks, and then they are placed. The hooks and lines are now set in the river, and the unsuspecting fish, when they eat the bait, they get hooked in their mouth, and they are retrieved and placed in collecting containers. So this is a hook and line contains a line or a rope, usually twine, and a hook in which baits are placed to attract target species. These gears are hauled by hand or in small, in that's basically in small scale fisheries, whilst in large scale fisheries, vessels are usually provided with powered line haulers, automatic jiggers, line reels, line coilers, and automatic hook handling and baiting systems. So it can be deployed by hand or through a vessel that has various devices that are designed to set and retrieve the net. These gears are suitable for almost any size or type of vessel that can operate in the area being worked. They can be employed also without boat directly from the coastline. Without boats too, they can be deployed. That can be employed into to catch fish in a particular water body along the coastline. It can be on jetties, on rocks, on beaches, and so on. The fish are attracted by the natural or artificial bait or lures, hooked and held by the mouth until they are brought aboard the operating vessel, which periodically hurls the gear. So this is basically how the gill nets, so how the hooks and line looks like. They are deployed, they are set in the water with floaters or buoys, and then a rope that has the hooks, and the baits are attached to the hooks. The target species in a bid to eat the lure gets hooked in their mouth. They get hooked in their mouth and are collected later. Hooks and lines are generally operated in a very wide range of depths, either in inland and in sea waters. With line fishing, it is possible to catch fish on rough ground, even in their hiding places without between the rocks. They can be caught even in the hiding places between the rocks. So different types of fish can be caught with the aid of the hooks and lines. The next type of passive fishing gear we want to look at are the end machine or thermal nets. The end machine or thermal nets. End machine or thermal nets are nets that capture fish by tangling them in the meshes or loose folds in the net. They are actually nets that capture fish by tangling them in the meshes or loose folds in the net. They can be used in areas and habitats similar to where a gill net would be set. These nets are not as size selective as gill nets, so that a wider range of fish sizes can be caught by a single net. They are often used for fish such as flatfish or sturgeon that are not easily caught in gill nets. Now, these are the end machine nets. They have areas in the net that are designed to entangle the fish that are caught in the net. The next type of passive fishing gear for fish sampling are the minnow traps. The minnow traps. How are the minnow traps used? Minnow traps, that are also called the G-minnow traps, are nets or wire enclosures used to trap live fish. They are net or wire enclosures that are used to trap fish. Small fish and other animals swim or climb inside through funnel-shaped openings that guard them from a large opening near the outside of the trap to the narrow opening close to the center of the trap. Once inside, it is difficult for the animal to locate the opening and escape. The trap dimensions are approximately 40 centimeters in length, 23 centimeters in diameter at the middle, and 19 centimeters in diameter at the ends. Minnow traps are also size selective and are most suited for sampling juvenile fish or adult small fish species or adult small species. They are most commonly used in littoral habitats that may be difficult to sample with nets or electric fishing techniques such as deep areas or habitats with many snags. Minnow traps usually consist of two wire baskets held together by a clip and attached to a marker float, though they can also be locally made with various materials. Okay, even with minute wooden materials or from materials gotten from the Nipa fructicans. The baskets are interlocked and the clip is inserted to hold the two halves together. The float line is attached and the trap is positioned either on the bottom or suspended at a particular depth. Traps can be set with or without bait. There are some traps that can be set with baits, while others cannot be. Others are set without baits. It has been suggested that the most effective use of minnow trap include using fresh roe, which is basically eggs of fish or ovaries of certain crustaceans as bait and soak time of 24 hours. Other baits include preserved cat food, sardines, canned fish, corn, shrimp, and cheese. Traps set in a variety of habitats such as weeds, beach areas under overhanging vegetation or among submerged logs. Traps are set in a variety of habitats such as these. Now, this is a picture of the minnow trap, the minnow traps that are locally made. Okay, the minnow traps that are locally made, they usually contain a wide opening and a wide opening that leads to a narrow opening inside close to the middle, and the fish is trapped within and are unable to escape from the traps. All traps must be recovered as they continue to fish indefinitely. Furthermore, predation among the captured fish is common, and hence the traps should be monitored regularly. Small rocks can be put into the trap to provide some refuge for the smaller fish. The next type of passive fishing gears are the trap nets or the fight nets. Trap nets and fight nets are usually used in near shore or shallow areas of a lake. They are sink There are sinking versions of the trap net that can be used in deep water sections of a lake, but they are normally designed to fish the surface. They are designed to be light, portable, and relatively simple to assemble. A typical net consists of an internal framework that supports the netting material, a trap box, and a heart with funnel. Trap nets have a central lead that extends from shore, and the fish are captured by being directed through a series of funnels leading to collection chamber at the offshore end of the net. A typical fight, a typical lake trap has a leader of up to 50 centimeters long, 50 meters long and 25 meters deep. However, the length is flexible and more approximately determined by the specific location of the trap. Winglets present on either side of the opening and leading to the capture area are 2.5 millimeters deep and 45 millimeters long, 45 meters long, 2.5 meters deep, and 4 meters long. The trap box at the end of the leader is 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters. Fight nets consists of an internal cone that directs the fish into the trap, and when set in lakes, wings are often employed to direct fish into the net. The opening diameter of a fyke net can be up to 2 meters. Fykes and traps are also size selective, and because they are fixed, will only catch fish that use the area of the lake where the trap is set. Now, this is a picture of the fyke net. It has an opening, and then has this part that's called the wing that has floaters. The fish are directed into this cone-shaped central part, and then they are trapped within and later harvested. Thanks a lot for watching this video on the passive fishing techniques. So far, we have looked at the different types of fishing techniques that include both passive and active. We have looked at the active fishing techniques that include the use of cast nets, the use of trawlers, and others. And we have also looked at the use of passive fishing techniques, such as the use of gill nets, the use of hooks and lines, and the likes that we have discussed. Please continue to watch these educative videos on my YouTube channel, and you'll be glad you did.